Peace, what's up, y'all? It's your boy NFO Mert, the Code Breaker. Thank y'all for tuning in. Today's topic, we're gonna be dealing with time. It's about damn time, right? What time are you on? Right? How does time relate to the reality that we in? So today we will inform or add some more clarity towards the concept of time, right? So what is time? Time is a man-made concept that correlates speed and distance, right, as a way for us to connect points and connect with one another through a triangulation between you and two different points. You know what I'm saying? So between a certain type of speed, what time will you arrive and what day you arrive. You know what I mean? How much miles per hour, all that got something to do with time and distance, right? Space, right? But there's also other time. There's another time that seems to be more divine than this way that man has it set up, right? So the concept of time is based off cycles and seasons, right? So how do I want to do this? All right, so nature would deal with cycles and seasons, right? There's certain things in nature, certain amount of sunlight that allows plants to bloom because of the amount of sunlight or lack thereof. And because of that, there's a certain smell that goes in the air which triggers certain animals to do certain things, which was signal if times are bountiful where we could store up. So there's an ebb and flow, a wax and weaning, a give and take, a time for preparation and a time for execution, right? In the way how nature is set up. It's cycles, right? Hormonal cycles, biological cycles, mental development cycles that each and every one of us is going through. We all go through emotional growth constantly, intellectual growth constantly, right? You might stop growing physically, but different parts of you will grow forever until that particular apparatus starts to decline, right? But we have many years with the brain and the mind before that part of you starts to decline into you're now just there, right? So, what made me want to do this was when my daughter was conceived, right? I know the day she was conceived. It was a Wednesday. It was Wednesday, right? But no, all jokes aside, it was on a Wednesday, right? So every time we went to court, every time we went to the see the doctor, you know what I mean, I was all happy to say it was a Wednesday in March and so forth. But they asked her when was her last menstrual cycle, and they calculated her menstrual cycle, right? Now I am a son, son, which is synonymous, which sounds like sun, right? Because I'm the male, right? I have a soul, purpose, blah, 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 blah. Ego, the sun is a good parable. My nature rises in the morning with the sun, right? Dealing with all healthy dialogue, right? And the woman is in sync with the moon, right? Now, the moon is a new moon every 28 days, right? Mind you, there's nothing superficial in your matrix, right? So your woman would have a menstrual every 28 days. And there's also a new moon every 28 days, right? Now, you say, all right, now this is how you know it's divine. How many days are in a year? 365, 366. 365, 366. Then every 4 years, February gets a 29th, right? There's 31 days in one month. There's 30 days in another month. There's 28 days in this month. What's going on? Why aren't the months uniform? Why is every new moon every 28 days? Why is every woman's menstrual cycle every 28 days? It's not 31, it's not 30. And by the way, moon and month is the same thing. You're charting the moon, so we're charting the month. This is what makes it a blue moon when in these 31 days a new full moon pops up inside. I mean, a new moon pops up inside a month. When you have two new moons in one month, it's considered a blue moon, but the moon isn't actually blue. You understand? All right. So it's just wordplay from somebody who plays with words, right? Now, let's stop at the 28 days for a minute. I'm gonna pause put the numbers up that correlate with this, right? Now, under the 5% knowledge, and even in Kabbalistic knowledge, any other form of knowledge, numbers and letters have a correlation to the spirit, to you, right? So the number 1 through 0 all have um, a corresponding word to the understanding, right? So number one is knowledge. This is in the 5% ideology, right? Number one is knowledge. Number two is wisdom. Number three, understanding. Four, culture slash freedom. Number five, power, refinement. Number six, equality. Number seven, God. Number eight, build and destroy. Number nine, born. And the number 0 is cipher, right? Now we're going to use in this for this particular expression, we're going to use 28, right? Because there's 28 days for a new cycle. Now, um, knowledge is number one, which is a male, which is the man, right? Number two is wisdom, which is female. Number three is understanding, which is the child, right? Number four, which is culture, which would be the house. You know what I mean, number five will be the power, which will be everything power. Power that powers you, the house, and so forth. Everything that powers that, right? Number six is equality, right? There's a certain level of that's like justice, right? But um, there's a certain amount of chromosomes that I possess and a certain amount of chromosomes that she possessed in order to for us to bring this new life into. And the same math made me, they made, and so forth. So there's a level of equality, there's a certain um, humbleness that comes with that word, right? Now, number seven is God, which is you are in reflection of that. You are a creator and a destroyer, right? Which is number eight, which is to build and destroy. When number nine is born, right? Every 9 months after the you have a baby, right? 9 months is what it takes for the baby to be born. So nine is completion, aka born, because that's when the journey is over and you're being born, right? And 0 represents the cipher. Cipher is a circle. So circle is the all, it's the everything, right? So number two is already feminine, right? Two, right? Wisdom. And number eight, build and destroy. What is happening on a woman's menstrual cycle when she's having a menstrual? She's cleansing herself from the inside out. She's cleaning the I believe is the urethra tract, right? She's cleaning out her inside from like a grinding process against itself, hence the cramp feeling, right? And is wiping the lining of herself out, right? So, because cleanliness is next to godliness. This is the house that incubates God, right? So, this is her. This is her nature. This is her process. This is her to whom much is given, much is required, right? So you can see that she has to do a little bit more in her journey in order to just exist, right? So to whom much is given, much is required. So you can see how divine the 28 days is. This is just not by happenstance. This is the fingerprint of the creator. F 28 days is a new moon. F 28 days is a menstrual cycle. You can see how men correlated moon and month with the woman, right? Then the 28 days and then 2-8 on five in the 5% understanding still goes into a feminine rebuild and destroy, wisdom rebuilding and destroying it within herself. How divine is that? Drop a thumbs up and a like, because I know y'all ain't never hear nobody put it down like that, man. No, I need this. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like for Merc before I start tweaking on God. You know what I mean? All right. Now the other part. Now, mind you, my daughter was so back to my daughter. So they went to the moon. And I remember one time I Googled somebody's age. I probably pull this up too if it's able to happen. I forget who I Googled, some old white boy. And I asked Google, how old is Bob Barker or whatever. Bing, 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 bing. And it had his age and it told me how many full moons he lived through. Somebody is charting the moons. Now, in Jewish religion, right? Your boy Drake. is considered a Jew. Why is that? Because he went to a Jewish school? Not quite. Because he lives in a Jewish neighborhood? Not quite. Because he thought he was Jew? Not quite. His mother was Jew. The body is a temple. The temple houses the spirit. If it houses it, it's shaping it, it's giving it power. Remember, this is inside of the culture, right? As the one unfolds into the wisdom to get understanding, it's in the culture and the freedom to move around within the restrictions of the matrix in which you are now introduced to. So if your first matrix is in your mother, because matrix is relates to matter, mom, matter, mother, mom, material, uh, shit like that. Like, I mean, so it's a feminine thing right there. And then the tricks, like matrix, right? So that is it may trick you. This is the intelligent game. So this thing is a webbing of where you're at. And every time we are in something, that webbing that we're in, could be considered inside of it, like the birthing process, like the caterpillar process, like everything that came before us, as above, so below, as within, so without. So there's no doubt that when I leave here, that I'm still going to be doing something else. My likeness may not be in this avatar form, but my mind may not ever see the darkness. I might just be reborn into a whole nother vehicle, a whole nother existence behind a whole nother pair of eyes that sees the reality for either more or less of the light waves and so forth. No one really knows, right? This is what it is. So what I'm trying to say is this calendar. Let's go back to some basic math real quick that I thought would be interesting, right? Now, the 365 days versus, let's go, do you everybody's familiar? All right, so 7 times 4 is 28. So 7 days in a week, there's 4 weeks in a month, and you times 4, you get 28. Do you know that if you do 28, that's the days, times 13, that's the months, you would get 364 days? And that means that each month, oh shit, each month would have 28 days to correlate with the feminine energy that is embedded in the moon energy, which is embedded in the term month. So when they said the Holy Father, the Son, and this Holy Spirit, and they didn't have no female in there, is because everything that would involve the female in the creation, right? They would put a male there, which would tie into the psychology of a man who does not want a woman. Right? In a nutshell, I was really promising you I was going to try to say it as better as I could, but men who are not interested in women. This is what you're doing. This is who you're following. This is the dark nature of your religion, of your Christian religion, of your Islamic faith. You know, there's no female angels in Islam and none of that. Like, it's real hyper male. So there's a flaw there because there's females out here. These same males give birth to females. These same males love the woman that they make love to. So how is she not relevant in your creation story, which your creation story is relevant today, hence you being here creating and destroying as we speak? Make it make sense, you know? So isn't that a coinky dink? That 28 times 13 will give you almost what we call a perfect year, 364 days. Now, the reason why it's 365 is because of the 28 and then all that, and they finesse the months. You know that December would have been the 10th month because Deca is 10, decimal, deca, 10, right? The decimal is a system of 10. Seth would have been, Seth is either 7. So all the months almost correlate to a number. Almost, not all of them, but near the October, September, November, all those things are not just these are not just irregular names. Some of the names are named after people. April, April, August, Augustus. I mean, Julius, July. You see? So man has implemented himself into the Gregorian calendar, which offsets time, which now has us, the organic beings of the reality, off time. We're on someone else's time because we are using their correspondence to dictate where and when we are. This is the problem. Hence the code breaker asking you, what time are you on? Because it's a man-made concept. You can end and begin a day whenever you choose. You can redo your childhood every morning. You can choose to be a victim today and tomorrow be the hero. You can make that decision. It's all in perception and it's all about time. So the Jewish, back to the Jews, the Jewish believe that the mother denotes the religion because she is the temple, right? Which forged the spirit. And they track the lineage through the mother. But outside of that, it's like they purposely want us to get lost because we tracking it through the father's last name. No regard for the temple in which you came out of. Do you think we need to audit it? And maybe the woman, we should keep the woman's last name? I don't know. Before you get your little masculine boxes all in a bunch, let's look at the ancients real fast to give us some correspondence, right? Because last name probably is a man-made construct within itself. We never thought about that. And when I say man-made, I'm talking about the same man who changed the calendar. You may know him as the devil. You know what I mean? A trickster, a liar, a deceiver. I just call him white. Um. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, so charting the child through the mother and us losing the child through the father. Us by doing that, we changing last name. So whatever temple you came out of, it doesn't matter because we're just keeping track of your father. So the mother, who knows when and where you are, F the thing that push you out, you lose track every time someone took that name. You understand? So the ancients have depictions of male and female deities in statue form, with the woman hand behind the back of the male deity. And they believe that that means that she picked that male. And when you think about it, in a healthy exchange of energy, men are only allowed to do what the woman allows them to do. Now, anything past that, you and they were puffing them boys. You follow what I'm saying? So let's not put that into the fold. We're dealing with all love and keeping it all healthy, right? So in a way, the woman is still picking the suitor by allowing the suitor in. Then if she's trained, if she has a clean third eye, she will pick the man for noble reasons. And then the man will pick her for virtuous reasons. And these will be embedded in the knowledge and wisdom in which the two of them possess to now bring forth understanding. And now in that house, they would have a certain type of harmony. I'm quite sure, even in the best of them, they're going to bump heads and argue and so forth. But there's a certain level of disconnect, a certain rift that won't allow our families to come together. Our women are too far gone, our men are too far gone. What I mean by that is that it has to be a commonality between the two of us. And we're so traumatized in trying to figure out who and when we are, that when we time us to come together, we now realize how bent I may be from how bent she is. Because once we come together, we now turn to one. So there's no such thing as me playing my girl, I'm playing myself. And likewise, especially if there's a baby out of it, because back to the natural and back to man. I didn't know this was going to pop into, I swear, but because I think like this is what we get. So, um, when the man and woman comes together and make a child, that's a holy matrimony. The child will now walk through the veil. She would now be the flower bearer because the yoni is like a flower, right? And when it's ready to bloom, it's ready, it's fertile, and so forth. So, and when the flower now puts a seed into the reality, is now walking down the aisle with the mom and dad likeness, and all the parallels that make a wedding is happening with that child. And they tricked you and us into believing, oh, it's a marriage and we need to go to court and we need to be recognized and this and this and that. But what's more recognition than life that look like you, that look like me? You need man to tell you something about that? A lot of us has been playing me and light. A lot of us have been playing because of how far away we have been led astray by these natural points, right? But let's use logic. Let's use love. Let's figure this thing out. And you don't have to agree with what I'm saying, but eventually you would agree with what I'm saying. There's something wrong, for sure, right? There is a purpose behind everything we do. Even when we call and chilling, it has a purpose because I probably exerted energy somewhere else and it's required for me to chill so I can be the best person in my next endeavor. You understand? The next time around. All right. So drop a like, drop a comment, drop a like, drop a comment. It's your boy, NFO Merc, signing out.